Hey guys, welcome or welcome back to my channel. Welcome if you are new here. My name is Paula. I am a new grad trauma ICU nurse. I am a single mommy to one beautiful baby girl, and I am on a mission to tackle over $70,000 of debt. So I have about 20K in credit card debt. That is our main focus and priority right now. I don't have a car loan. I don't have a mortgage, just a whole lot of credit card debt that we are trying to pay down right now. So that is why we are going to be talking through my end of June to end of July budget breakdown and how I spent my money as far as how much we were able to put towards my debt. I was getting paid bi-weekly, splitting those two checks up into basically checks that I had each week so that I was able to maximize how much I was putting towards my debt each week, and then you know how that interest works. So with that being said, let's go ahead and get through all the numbers right here, right now. And so we are going to start by the creditor, what my balance was at the end of June, which was a month ago, to what my balance was at the end of July, which was a couple of days ago, what the difference was, so like how much I paid off. And then we have some other tabs down here, how much I totally contributed to my debt this month, how much interest I was charged, and then what is the net difference between how much I contributed subtracted by the interest to see how much actually went on my principal payments. And then we will go ahead and compare my previous debt amount to what our debt amount is right now, and then we will go over a couple of takeaways that I noticed during the month or just how I felt. We're also going to be going over credit score as well, just to see how my credit score is trending now that we are finally able to pay off my debt, or working towards paying off my debt. So the first thing I'm going to go ahead and do is just kind of put our date on here. We are now in August, so it is, let me make sure I have my black pencil here. And I want to make sure this is big enough for you guys to see. I apologize if the lighting is a little off. It's in a really, really weird spot right now, so hopefully it doesn't look too crazy, and hopefully you guys can see what I'm talking about. I see that there's lots of like shadows going on. I apologize for that. So it is 8/6/25, so that's why we will be talking about my numbers from July, which is month 7. We will go over my total debt at the end when we tally that complete score, and then we will go over my credit scores and compare them to what they were last month. So starting out with the first creditor here, I'm just gonna make my pencil bigger. So the first creditor that we were talking about when I first started my debt journey this time around, we were talking about my credit union credit card that we put some money on. So we have credit union that we're gonna write here. So end of June, my balance with my credit union was $0.00. And then at the end of July, we are still at $0.00. We have not spent anything on this card. I know at the very beginning I was like, I like putting my gas on it because I go to Costco, but because I'm trying to all cash budget, make sure that there's money allocated to every little thing and stop spending on cards as much as I can, I just went ahead and decided to spend cash and go to a different gas station that's going to actually take my cash so that I can just be using cash and stop using my cards altogether. Because y'all know Costco, they only take Visas, and this is the only Visa credit card that I have, so I just stopped using it altogether. I also don't really go to Costco right now because of that, because they don't take cash. So, or I've never seen if they could take cash, but I don't know. But so that's just kind of where we are with that. So moving on to the second card that I have, that's going to be my Apple credit card. Apple credit card. All right, so at the end of June, my Apple credit card was sitting at $1,423.71. And then by the end of June, that same card was sitting at $1,405.87. So the difference between those two numbers is $17.84. The next card that we have is going to be my Bank of America credit card. So I'm just going to write BOA here. So that credit card at the end of June was sitting at $2,400.85. Now that card is sitting at $2,365.85. Alrighty, so that difference is going to be 2400.85 subtract 2365.85 equals $35. So that is going to be a difference of $35 for that Bank of America credit card. So the next credit card that we have on our list is going to be my Rooms to Go credit card. I'm just going to write Rooms to Go here. And I will put Bank of America here just so we're all on the same page. All right, so we have my Rooms to Go credit card. Last month, my Rooms to Go credit card was sitting at $2,517.70. Now, that same card is now sitting at $2,437.70. So the difference with that is going to be our 2517.70 minus 2437. It's 2437.70. And that leaves us with an $80 difference. So we have $80 difference there on my Rooms to Go. So the next card, the fifth card that we have on our list is going to be my Capital One card. So we'll just put Capital One. So at the end of June, my Capital One card was sitting at $2,876.92. And right now that same card is sitting at $2,849.91. And that makes a difference of, let's put our 2876.92 minus 2849.91, a difference of $27.01, which is just 1 cent. So $27.01. So 27.01 is the difference there that we have. Now we have our sixth card. So we have our Discover card. Alrighty, so for Discover, my previous balance was $8,628.56. And now that same Discover card is sitting at $5,406.67. So let's go ahead and calculate that difference. So we have 8628.56 minus 5406.67 equals $3,221.89 difference between this month and last month. So let me go ahead and add that here. So we have 3,221 and 89, trying to make it fit. So that is our biggest difference out of these cards so far. Let's go ahead and put our last but not least credit on here, which is going to be my student loans. So I'm put my nail net on here. So my student loans last month was sitting at $51,339.76. And this month we are currently sitting at a $51,485 and 22 cents. 22. So that makes for a negative difference, which is like positive. So we're adding it on to our bill basically. So I'm gonna do, we'll do the bigger number. So we're gonna do 51485.22 minus 51339.76 equals $145.46. That is our difference here. So my student loans, the interest that they charged, it went up by $145.46. So as we see, these are our numbers so far for all of our cards. We have the difference. So based on what I paid for the month minus the interest. So with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and count up what our previous debt is. So I'm going to count up all of these numbers here, and then we'll get what our previous loan amount was, basically loan amount. So let's go ahead and add these together. So we're going to do our 1423.71 plus 2400.85 plus 2517.70 plus 2876.92 plus that Discover balance of 8628.56, and then our nail net 51339.76 equals $69,185 as our last debt amount. So let's go ahead and put this in here. So previous debt amount for the month of June, well, at the end of June, is 69,180. It's a little chunky, 187 and then 50 cents. Hopefully y'all can see that it's kind of like wobbly. But anyways, so let's go ahead. We have our previous debt here. So we have our contributed amount. So when I look here at our debt tracker page from here, so as you can see, we have my total debt tracking progress. This is our first page. This is a 5K tracker, so every page is 5K. This is also available down below for free if you want it on a little website that I have. That's $5,000, and so we have $5,200 that we have contributed between, I think that when I started it was like the end of May. So that month of June and then the month of July, we've been able to contribute about $5,200, give or take, to my overall debt. And then just this previous month, we have been able to contribute, because I stopped putting the dates on it because I was like, the dates don't really matter, but I guess for this case it does matter. For this month, I was able to contribute $3,638.68 if we divide what we put last time versus this time based on our tracker. So I'm going to go ahead and add that here so that we can just keep track of all of our numbers. So we contributed this month, maybe make this smaller, yeah, $3,638.68. That is what we contributed to our debt this month, give or take, because as you guys know, when it comes to how I was going about my debt, any debt that any overage from my paycheck that I got, I was putting all towards my Discover. And then I did have a buffer in my account, which I was doing my monthly minimums for all of these other ones. So the Discover was getting the bulk of my paycheck money, and then I had a little buffer that all of these other minimums were coming out of. So that's why all of these are much lower numbers versus this one, because this is actually out of my paycheck that I was able to contribute to my debt. So let's go over what the charged interest was for all of these different cards for this month so that we can add those together so we know how much interest we were charged, and based on what we contributed, what actually went to principal, which would be the net difference. So starting with our credit union card, obviously that's zero because we didn't have a remaining balance on that. However, the Apple card did charge me $32.17 of interest this month. Next, we have the Bank of America. Bank of America is still on an interest-free period right now, so she charged me zero in interest for the month of July. Rooms to Go also is in a interest-free period, so she also charged me zero for interest in the month of July. Next, we have our Capital One here. Our Capital One charged me $72.99 of interest for the month of July. Next, we have our Discover card. Discover charged me $162.11 for the month of July. And then lastly but not least, we have my Nelnet, which is my student loans, that added $145.46 to my bill, which leaves me with a total of $412.73 of interest added to my bills this month. So that's how much we've been charged in interest for the month of July. So I'm going to add that here. So we have 412.73. All right. Now I'm going to go ahead and subtract what we contributed by our charged interest, and that's going to let us know how much we were actually able to put towards principal payments this month. So we're going to put our 3638.68 minus 4112.73 equals 3,225.95. So now we know how much went to actually the principal of my debts this month versus how much I actually contributed, which is a vast difference from my last numbers that we went over, which was my interest for May and basically just for May. So my interest for all of my cards was $816. So we're already now at half of that. And I contributed much less, about half of what I contributed this month. So we are looking just much, much better in terms of our overall numbers. And then my net difference for last month was also about half of what this is. So we are able to contribute a lot more, which is making a really, really big difference, especially when it comes to this interest. And I like showing you guys like what I contributed versus what the interest is, because it goes to show you how detrimental interest can be and how it feels like, oh my gosh, I'm paying so much money towards this, I'm putting so much money towards that. But because of that interest, a nice big chunk is not actually going towards it. So that's why I wanted to include that for you guys in here. So with that being said, let's go ahead and count up what our new debt total is altogether. So like I said last time, it was $69,187.50. So let's go ahead and count up our end of July balances so that we can know what our so we can know what our new debt amount is. So with that being said, let's go ahead and calculate that. But yeah, this is not too off, whereas last time it was like way off. So I'm actually happy with that progress. So let's go ahead and count these up. So we have $1,405.87. We have our $2,365.85. We have $2,437 plus 70 cents. We have $2849.91, and then plus our $5406.67. And then our last but not least, our 51485.22 equals $65,951.22. If y'all can see that, that is our new debt total in comparison to our old debt total, which is our 69. So that is a nice chunk taken out, which I am happy with, you know, especially just for 1 month. So let's put our 1.22. So this is what our new number looks like, $65,951.22. And our old number was almost 70K, a little under 70K. So we are making some halfway decent progress here, especially month to month wise. So I am going to go ahead and add the credit scores that I have been seeing for this month. It's so funny because I've been getting emails from like my, my Credit Karma and my Capital One talking about something. Hey Paula, do you want to check your credit score? It's gone up by 10 points. It's gone up by this. So I'm like, okay, that's great. So as you can see, when you're starting to really pay down your debt in a very intentional way, your credit score does start to go up. So my credit score now is sitting at around 682 to 685, and I feel like that was kind of similar to like last month, but you know, it takes a couple of months for them to kind of like, I don't know, figure things out and let all the wash and all the debts and stuff kind of add up and trigger certain things. So that's pretty much what we were sitting at now. I feel like last month we were sitting closer to like the 70s. So it's going up, it's creeping up. And then I know some people are like, well, if you pay off too much too fast, that can kind of hurt your credit score and stuff like that. However, my credit score is improving, when I first started my journey this time around, we were like super low sixes. So yeah, I know when I went to the bank to see if I can consolidate my loan, they were like, any TransUnion score, Vantage score that you see, you need to add like 20 points to that off rip. But that's like word of mouth type thing. I'm looking at what I'm seeing on the app and it's saying like 609, 612. So that's the number that I'm going with. But this is what we're looking at right now, which is an improvement. So I'm very, very happy with that. So we've made a pretty big chunk this month. So I would say my key takeaways are, I would say that I contributed more than I thought I would be able to. Just kind of when you think about like, okay, this month I'll probably be able to contribute whatever it is, because the last time we did an update, I told you guys my goal was to kind of pay off my Discover card by the end of Q3. And there were some people that were like, oh, I don't know about that. That seems really, really like drastic. And it is drastic for sure. But now that I'm seeing this number come down by 3,000 and, you know, 1,500 last time, I'm like, I don't know. I think we might be able to do it. I think we might be able to get the Discover card paid off by the end of Q3. So that's why I'm saying I contributed more than I thought I would be able to. And I'm definitely one for just super big goals, maybe not super unrealistic, but close to teetering on that unrealistic side. I feel like we really might be able to get this done because we have August. I think, is it the end of August or the end of September where that's the end of Q3? It's one of those, but I feel like we can get close to, if not completely, get the Discover paid off. I'm gonna say that we are on track. To getting my highest credit card paid off for good, which I am super excited about. For good. I'm trying to think of like anything else. In terms of my student loans, I know some of you guys were saying, you know, make sure you're paying towards that. 100%, I totally agree with you. I am worried about my credit cards right now just because they do have higher interest. So once because y'all know I'm kind of doing like an avalanche method style right now. It's kind of hybrid because I still pay my minimums on everything, but I'm really worried about this Discover because she charges me the most in interest right now, and it's like at 29, 28% or something like that. So I definitely want to get my consumer cards paid down before I start worrying about my student loans. And then once I'm able to get those down, I'll be able to use basically the money that I was using to pay those down to start tackling my student loans as well. So yes, the interest is going up, which is very annoying. However, my job as well is supposed to be, once I hit that 3-month mark full time, I am supposed to be getting, I believe it's $100 each paycheck or $100 a month going towards my student debt, which should help, definitely. My goal first is to get the interest paid down on the student debt so that the interest is not building more interest, and then we'll start tackling like the actual principal. But for right now, I'm going to focus on these because these are charging me way more in interest than this is charging me. Even though the number looks higher, it's because the balance is just so much higher. But when you consider things, this amount here charging me $162 for the month is still more than it charging me $145. It's close, but this is 5 times the balance of this, you know what I mean? So I do want to focus on getting my consumer debts paid off because those actually usually mess up your credit score way more than a student loan does. And then we will focus on the student loans. But I am really excited that we were able to pay off a good chunk of debt. It did come with some sacrifices this month. I really wanted to eat out more than I did. I ate out once, and I really wanted to eat out a little bit more, but I'm happy that we are making this type of progress and that it is actually looking just so much better in terms of my overall debt. My credit score is going up week by week, so we're looking much better. And in terms of that, I would love to just ask you guys, like, if you guys are in debt, which debts are you focusing on paying off right now? Are you still doing a snowball? Are you doing avalanche? What are your goals? What are your plans for your overall debt? How much is your overall debt? I know some of y'all are not in debt, but y'all are saving for really big goals that you have for yourself. Let me know what it is down below. Let me know your progress. I love when y'all keep me updated on all of y'all's goals and y'all's dreams for your money and to be financially free and all that good stuff. So definitely let me know what is going on down below. But like I said, this is our current numbers for the end of July. We are now into August. I'm hoping to put down a good chunk of money towards my debts this month as well. We will see how things go, especially just with, you know, paycheck shifting and what I'm getting paid and what's coming out via benefits and stuff like that. But I am excited that we made this much progress on my Discover card this month, and I'm hoping to do the same, if not better, next month. I'm not gonna be mad, you know, if it's a little bit less, but I don't even want to speak that into existence because I really want to get this card paid all the way off. But yes, that is pretty much it for this video. Like I said down below, go ahead and update me on your financial progress. I would love to hear about what you guys have going on, what's your debt, or if you're not in debt, what goals are you planning for right now? How are you coming in terms of those goals? And also, if you're interested in my little debt tracker, make sure to go ahead and scoop that up. The link is down below. And yeah, I will see all of you guys next time in our next update. Hopefully it's amazing. And yes, I will see you guys later. Bye bye.